Coming up on Be Kind, Let's Rewind.
Today we're going to review our own trip that we just took to Tampa to see friend of the show Michael Uslan's play, The Boy Who Loved Batman.
I'm Batman.
Of course, the premier star, Dan Fogler. And of course, I don't know, there was one other thing, Chris. What was...
Oh, he was Take Me Home Tonight, which apparently only I remembered.
That 1966 abortion of a show.
But I believe Swamp Thing 2, thank you, Michael Uslan, for Heather Locklear.
No matter the success, it can't replace what truly matters in this world, a thick BBW. I mean, true love. True love.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Welcome to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for, with your hosts, Chris, Leaf, and Shadwick.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast.
Clicker and I.
Nostalgia podcast no one asked for. Today we're going to review our own trip that we just took to Tampa to see friend of the show Michael Uslan's play, The Boy Who Loved Batman. And I can tell you guys, that was like 4 days or 3 days of the most I've laughed probably in my life. Just us hanging out.
Same.
It's been a while since we've all three hung out together in person and not on the podcast. And dude, my stomach was hurting, and so is my liver. Guys, before we get going, if you're digging what we're doing, be sure to like, subscribe. If you're on the audio formats, hit us with that 5-star. And for the love of God, spread the word, man. Also, in other news, man, we're actually going to be at the Chattanooga Comic-Con coming up on the 26th and 27th of October. If you're in Chattanooga or in the area, man, come say what's up to us. We'll be there hanging out, filming, doing our normal shenanigans that apparently is not well liked by Allegiant Airline, which will go ahead and lead us into our... Oh, and speaking of booze of the week this week, guys, we want you to go ahead and check out one of our new friends, ZBiotics. ZBiotics, you can go to their website, zbiotics.com, or you can check in the link. We'll have a link. You can click on that. Either way, if you go without the link, the code BeKind, I can tell you this. There was one day we used ZBiotics on this trip, and
You've been using it for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I've been using it for a couple years.
I had heard of it, and you had told me about it before. I was like, I don't need that.
Yep,
I'm fine.
Yeah,
but as it turns out, we figured out on Friday, do this little shot of not shot, but a shot,
little
of
tootski right before you go.
Yeah, dude. The next morning was way better than it was Sunday morning when I woke up after not taking it.
We forgot to take our ZBiotics Saturday night. So, and it was good for us. It was a compare and contrast. But
it's hard to remember to do important things when you have a weekend full of debauchery.
It's true. Indeed. It's true. And to lead that off, I actually got to stay up a little bit later and finish our next episode. It's coming up this week, but got myself a little Gentleman Jack and a little bit of the Black Rifle coffee, baby. So let's go. The actual Freedom Roast this time, because fuck it.
Man, we drank so much liquor this past weekend. I've got to clean my system out. So I'm just doing water tonight out of a Bud Light can.
It's the
For
filtered
those-
brand.
Yeah, for those of you that are just listening and not watching, it's a nice, crisp blue Bud Light can.
And it's delicious.
And,
Leaf,
but I'm not drinking it out of a can because I'm not trash.
Leaf, what do
No,
you
you're
got, man?
not.
Wait,
I
I
got a
drink
little
out of
bit
a
of-
can every week. Oh, that's right. I am trash.
I got a little bit of rum and coke.
The party
Just,
continues.
Yeah.
The party never stops.
Yeah. You never-
Antibiotics,
You never
save me.
stop drinking.
Yep. So don't forget, guys, whenever you're joining us for some booze of the week, grab your Z-Biotics. That code is Be Kind. You get a 10% discount, and you help us out because, God damn it, we got to keep the lights on, guys. It's getting dire here.
Please. We're slumming it over here.
Don't make Leaf sell his only kidney.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? What? I always ask that of all my prey.
The whole purpose of this trip, we had Michael Uslan on the pod. If you guys have watched it, if you haven't, go back and watch it. He's talking about the boy who loved Batman. You could tell he's super passionate about it. He's really passionate. And, man, we were like, hey, dude, Tampa's not that far away. And it's not like there's going to be like a fucking hurricane that hits. So, yeah, man, we'll go down and we'll go watch this with you. And
you're right. We didn't have a hurricane. We had two.
yeah, we had to. It turns out.
But, you know, just the way I like to do with everything, we kind of landed right in the middle of it.
I think that's just Chadwick's mantra, you know. The Boy Who Loved Batman, the play by Michael Uslan. Man, this was awesome to see this.
Yeah, it's based on his memoir that he wrote. You guys can check that out. It's I know it's on Audible. It might be on Spotify. I can't remember for sure. I've listened to it though. It's great.
Yep.
He does. Yeah, he reads it himself, which is always great. The book's great. The play is equally as good. Of course, they take however long that book was and condense it down to what was
90
it?
minutes.
91 minutes. something like that.
91 minutes. And it was like at the Straz Center. I'm sure that, hope that they're okay after all the weather that's heading towards them while we record this. But,
yeah. I did reach out to Michael Uslan yesterday to try to check in with him. I've not heard back, so
yeah,
I know he was busy. I'm sure they've had to suspend things for.
Oh yeah, I already saw that. Yeah, that they had canceled all the showings and stuff Monday.
Yeah. I hate that for him because, like I said, it was great. I think every night has gotten a standing ovation, which apparently is much better than what Joker 2 is doing right now.
Yeah, I guess we'll, as always, reserve judgment till we see it, but doesn't look good, man. So we made our way over to the Straz Center, got in there, of course, had our booze of the week, and sat down. A couple of nice couples around us. There was a guy Michael went to school with in front of us. I went to law school with. They're a pretty cool family. But, man, this play, Leaf, do you want to go ahead and get us in with some boring-ass facts about this play?
Absolutely. So, again, for the uninitiated, this is Michael Uslan's play. He is one of, or I guess the sole rights owner, and in conjunction with the other gentleman's estate who is passed away. The sole rights owner of Batman, the movie rights, right, to Batman. So that's kind of how it ties in with the podcast, and there's a lot of nostalgia in the play,
right?
And we're gonna get into that, but it was fantastic. So we're gonna talk about that. But again, the play's name is The Boy Who Loved Batman, which is a new play by Asa Summers, directed by Tony Award winner Jeff Calhoun. From the Newsies, for those of you who enjoy the theater, with scenic design by Daniel Allen, projection design by Kate Hevner, lighting by Mike Wood, sound by Jeremy Douglas, and costume design by Newt Remetta. And the cast.
So Newt is the guy I need to talk to about that trashy Stan Lee mustache.
Yes.
Look, man, it looked like he got one of those like the nose, glasses, and mustache.
Yeah,
disguises from the dime store.
Oh, dude, it was the SNL nightmare. That shit is impossible to do apparently, because like even on SNL with the budget through the roof, they can't get mustache and facial hair to stay on. It's just. I just don't know if there's a good way to do it, but anyway, it's got the point across.
You just have to paint it on, especially right in the middle.
All right.
Let's not remind the viewers of the Fuhrer of the Third Reich.
Yeah,
I was talking about Michael Jordan.
Even more surprising than this, Michael Jordan's Hitler mustache.
Why? So, actually, when he came out, too, the actor that was Hugh Timoney. I'm pretty sure just so that the audience knew he was like Stan Lee here. Like,
yeah, I know,
so everybody knew who he was too. So, but the cast the cast was actually pretty does have some notoriety, believe it or not. Of course, the premier star. In The Boy Who Loved Batman, who plays Michael Uslan, is Dan Fogler from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Harry Potter fame. He was also evidently in The Walking Dead. I didn't watch that series, so like I missed out.
I think
on
he
that
was
one.
also in Balls of Fury. Like when I was talking about it at work, like there was like dude was like, "Oh, the dude from Balls of Fury," and I was like, "Shit, yeah, it is."
Huh.
That is, and he also did he was in the biographical drama series. He played Francis Ford Coppola.
Damn.
All right, yeah, in the series called The Offer, and of course, I don't know. There was one other thing, Chris. What was?
He was Take Me Home Tonight, which apparently only I remembered.
Chris, the whole time he kept referencing that movie, which no one's seen
but me, apparently. So here we are. Hey Dan, call me. I remembered. Sponsor our podcast.
Actually,
people don't forget.
Yep.
He did a great job though, because
he did really good.
Unlike most plays, you would have a kid cast for Michael when it's dealing with his childhood.
Right.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know if he just has like a childish quality about him, an innocence, or maybe he's just a great fucking actor. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he really pulled it off. Like,
I mean, that dude's been in Hollywood for that I'm aware of for probably over 15, 20 years at this point. So I'd say dude's got some chops to stick around as long as he has, man. But yeah, you're right. He fucking killed it.
It takes a lot of talent to faint masturbation under a blanket.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
He does an excellent job, and I think it's a little of both. I think he does have he sort of has like a little that chubby, like childlike face quality still.
Yeah,
as a grown man, and he is an exceptionally good actor. I thought he knocked it out of the park, especially in the more serious moments. And they're sort of few and far between, but they hit. And we'll go into that a little bit later, because all three of us laughed our asses off the entire time.
Dude, that's fucking good.
I'll tell you this too. What's great about us going to see shit like this is I hate to throw around that shitty word diversity, but we're pretty diverse in tastes on stuff like this. So like for you guys are big comic book guys, I'm not. I enjoyed his audiobook, like we all three of course enjoyed his audiobook. I'm definitely not a big play guy, but I was just sucked in from Jump Street, man. Just great.
You could have been.
It was good.
You could have been sucked in if you talked to the hotel bar hooker.
Oh yeah, I forgot we did see that.
We've seen it.
Let's see. Me and the hooker went back to
The
my
hooker
place.
and I.
The hooker and I.
Yeah.
Sorry, fit round up the cast, man.
The next person, Paul Adam Schaefer, who played Batman, aka Michael Uslan's imaginary friend / alter ego, in the play. This gentleman, I believe, is fresh off Phantom of the Opera. So, and he is extremely tall, slender. I mean,
God, a chiseled jawline, just the right amount of scruff.
I mean,
You know, I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but I think you've got a really nice ass.
Dude,
excellent.
And also I really enjoyed this. Okay, so now when you see the cover of the book, when I see the cover of the book now and you see Batman behind him, like it makes sense where somebody got the idea for how they played this. Like it's just great the way that they play off, and we'll get into it as we get into the actual plot. But I was like, damn, like that's pretty smart way to attack this.
Yep, it really was.
Really good. Really, really good. Our official Be Kind, Let's Rewind theater crush, Catherine Yako as Michael Uslan's wife, Nancy Uslan, who appears in Go-Go Boots, just did something for all three of us. I can't explain it.
Go-Go Boots and a miniskirt. Why was that? Why did that go away?
Why is it gone? Yeah, let's lead the charge at Be Kind, Let's Rewind. I'll start by wearing them to work tomorrow.
Yeah, ladies, follow suit.
But man, I really loved. She had just like her facial expressions were so big that you could see them no matter where you were in the theater, and that's like something you gotta have when you're on that stage. Like she really jumped off the stage. Yeah, she was just great.
She did a fantastic job. You're right. Also, Kelly Bashar. She was evidently in Fargo and Parks and Rec.
Dude, I missed the Parks and Rec one. I love that show. Like, man, that's awesome.
She was in there at some point in time. She's Michael Uslan's mom. These last three, of course, that I'm mentioning, including Kelly Bashar, play multiple characters. They play TV executives and the
movie
like.
Execs,
movie execs. Nicholas Perez Hoop of theater fame as Michael Uslan's brother. He goes on to play, obviously, multiple characters. And rounding out the cast, Hugh Timoney, who I thought almost was the standout character as Michael Uslan's father. He also plays Bill Finger and Stan Lee, who we've already mentioned.
Was he also... No. Who was it that played the old man in the drugstore? Was that the chick that played his mom?
Yeah, that was Kelly Bashar. She plays the abusive old man.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Yes. And so the cast just did an excellent job in this film. Like overall, we've already said a lot of good stuff about them, but as we move forward, we can go ahead and fillet them verbally a little bit more. But I mean, moving in to the plot, the play begins with basically an introduction to the cast, aka Michael Uslan, his family, and of course, not to be forgotten, his imaginary friend and alter ego Batman.
I'm Batman.
And I think this is a good point in time to explain what you're seeing when you watch the play, because the way that it's set up, it's like when you say play, people think stage, set, right? But it's actually the backdrop is a rotating comic book, like in the background. It's brilliant. I'm actually like a choir theater kid, and I've been to a lot of productions. And I've never seen anything like this, and it was awesome for me to watch. Like there's stacks of comic books, which are actually boxes where the props are, and so they it moves from Michael Uslan's room to like a comic book store to a malt shop where he meets his wife. It's the set design,
comic book convention,
the it's awesome.
So there's video screens set up behind him, right? Was there 3 or 4, 5 big screens?
Yeah,
5 or 6. Yeah, and they rotated and moved actually and shifted.
And this guy we talked about, Paul Adam Schaefer, that played Batman and for a brief time, Bruce Wayne in the play. You only see his silhouette. He's on one of those screens back there. He's got on the cape and cowl and everything. So and he's using the gravelly voice. Yeah. But that gravelly voice it's insinuated that it's like Michael's inner voice. It's kind of his voice. It's kind of his voice of reason, his confidence, his
Which
will
is smart
to go on.
Shit to get
good.
across like what goes, because the book is like about one person, right? So there's not always someone there in the book. You can narrate a book all fucking day long, but do you really want your lead guy to just be talking straight for 2 hours or however long it is? And this gives a back and forth, because even Tom Hanks could only he had to create Wilson, Wilson! So I mean, like this was, I thought this was so fucking smart on how they did this. Nice little, I always call them theater tricks because I'm trash and I don't know any better. But
I mean, for all intents and purposes, you're dead on. I mean, you need somebody to bounce off of. You have to have somebody, like, you can't just and Dan Fogler does an exceptional job at interacting with the audience, because we are actually a character too, right?
Right.
Like, he's speaking to us directly, even individuals as we move forward, like in the theater, but he's also talking to Batman, who is him. Right. And of course, Dan Fogler plays Michael Uslan. So Michael Uslan is sort of, he's speaking to Batman. Batman's interacting with him, sort of interjecting, giving him ideas. So the early
fourth wall is the fourth wall is broken out of the gate. So like, you're part of this. Yeah, you're part of this. So like,
you're in there, and he's people are shouting things out. He's sometimes ad-libbing and interacting with people.
Right.
It was really interesting.
And can you guys remind me, did they say something about the play is like constantly evolving? So
that's what he said.
And I don't quite understand that.
Here's what here's what I got from that. And I think that what we got, because if you remember when we talked to Michael, he's like, it's going to go through this run. And then I believe there were talks of like it going to Broadway, or at least when we talked to Michael about that, right? I wonder.
He said the next stop, actually, they're going overseas. They're going to
London.
To London.
So I think this is a kick the tires, knock the rust off. Let's get it there. And I mean, every place should probably be this, right? So this isn't, we're not pulling a play that's been around for, 600 years. So I think they're really just seeing what works and what doesn't, is when they talk about it constantly evolving. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's what I assumed he meant.
No, that's exactly what's happening. And that's actually pretty common with new productions. What you're absolutely right. You're working on. So if you and I and me and Chadwick decide to go to watch the play, we take our wives to the one when it finally premieres on Broadway, it won't be what we saw.
Right.
It will be the best of what worked. And that's exactly what was going on there. The production we saw was different than the night before, which is different than the night before that, because they are knocking the rust off and seeing what works. And because they have a general gist of what they're going to do, but they got to ebb and flow a little bit with the audience, which, like you said,
if the play ever does go to LA, it'll leave me to shit stuck in my head this week.
I can't really feel anything.
See, that's it. That's the art of it. I'm fucking the shit out of you.
Hope you're wearing a condom, because I have a dirty mind.
That one was a lot funnier until about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That did not age well.
All right, back to the play.
Mine fucking ain't no joke.
Mine fucking ain't no joke.
So a young Michael Uslan, of course, is a nerd, obsessed with comic books, growing up in a fairly Orthodox Jewish family. He's constantly bullied, of course, by his more athletic brother, and his overachieving brother, like, is pretty much better at everything.
Yep.
Paul. Yeah. And as such, of course, often retreats into the fantasies and the escapism of the comic books, in which he is obsessed. So that's sort of like the backdrop. You get that. And Dan Fogler does a good job at being a young Michael Uslan. And the interactions between him and his brother are pretty funny too. Like,
yeah. And this is when it really hits early, which becomes a theme throughout. We're just Look, man, we're going to review it. I don't feel like there's spoilers for this because the book is out there, right?
We're not going to cover everything. There's going to be moments.
No, man.
That,
but
like,
this, like, out of the gate, and we talked, and you could hear it in Michael's voice when we interviewed him, talking about the Bam Zip Pow Batman, like how that really bothered him as a kid, and you know, because he wanted the dark Batman. And so it kind of goes over that, like when it debuts, and it's kind of cool on the screen. You have the little booms and pals back there, and they reference it several times, which is always funny with the sound effects.
And the whole rest of his family, they're like all excited, like they're sitting down and they're enjoying it, and he's like, "What the shit is this?"
Yeah,
like, you know what? Like, I think this was the first time that I myself finally understood it, because obviously I grew up, you know, to a certain degree with that campy, goofy Batman, which didn't bother me. It was just part of what existed. Also, you know,
that was my intro to Batman. That was what I knew as Batman.
And I didn't mind it. Didn't bother me. No. But I finally understood it when I saw it portrayed on the screen.
When you're fucking 6.
Which we were. Which we were.
But he had a reference beforehand, so it would almost be like if you took one of your superheroes now, like Spawn or Iron Man, and made this goofy, campy show.
What if you took one of your favorite actors, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, that is a great action hero, and you put him into a goddamn movie like, I don't know, Batman and Robin, which is a bomb. Would that not piss you off?
Chadwick, chill out.
Tonight's forecast, a freeze is coming.
The Iceman cometh.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute. For the first time, I understand. It's like you have this idea of Batman and who Batman is, and you have all these books and these references, and they come out with this goofy, basically a comedy for all intents and purposes, and you're like, no, like dude. This is, and I understand why it drilled a hole into his heart and it stuck in his craw so bad, because that's not his vision. That's not how he's viewed Batman, and everyone else kind of like, we all kind of liked it in a lot of ways that weren't obsessed with Batman. Like,
but we had the same. I mean, we had similar things, not as bad as this, but like when you know Street Fighter movie came out, when He-Man movie came out, you know that shit where I just
forgot about those,
dude. It was all bad, and then you're like, what the fuck is going on here? So I mean, but
no,
you know, it killed He-Man. You know,
did.
Like it until recently, yeah. So I mean.
If he dies, he dies.
For him to have this dream, because this is what I didn't realize that we watched Batman in syndication. So when we saw the Zip Boom Pow Batman, it stopped airing, what, in like 70 something. So we were definitely not even born yet.
I think that show only got a couple seasons, right?
It did, but it was like one of those where each season was like 40 episodes or some shit. Like it was some crazy. It got over 100 episodes.
There were a lot, yeah.
The guy made $1 million.
Man, so anyway, so after this is when he's talking about his comic book thing. We do get the Old Man Tepid, which I thought was funny. I was really looking forward to this to see how he was going to be portrayed. You know, I'll be damned if didn't force young Michael Uslan to buy 4 copies of the same damn comic book, and if it wasn't the Fantastic Four issue #1. I believe worth like what, 800,000 or $1 million,
hundreds of thousands of dollars now. So, that actually was disappointing to me, that part, because I wanted them to hit that a little harder. If I had any criticism, I would actually levy against it. That's one of the best stories in Michael Uslan's book, and I wish they had played it up a little bit more. A little rushed. It was pushed in, thrown in a little bit too quickly. So that was, but man, it's in there. It's a really, really good story.
All right, Leaf, let's talk about your favorite part of this, because this is great, because it shows shit that guess what's still happening, guys.
Yeah, this is.
Are you going to talk about Z German?
Oh yes, oh yeah, I'm about to. So Michael Uslan obviously is a comic book nerd, and he's an outcast for loving comic books, but even more so because during this time, the political backdrop is sort of an anti-comics sort of aura all around it, and it's all because of one man who has basically led a political crusade against comic books, and that man's name is Frederick Wortham Wortham, born Friedrich Ignaz Wertheimer.
He was Frederick Worthless.
Yeah,
where did he grow up?
He was born in Germany, Munich.
Oh man, can we look up
Germany?
when he was? So he would have been there in 19.
Not gonna go too much into that, but he was a German-born.
Dead eyes. His eyes are almost black.
Just go look it up. Frederick Wortham. He was a German-born American psychiatrist who basically championed the crusade against comic books and depicted them as gateways to violence, drug use, and sex, especially gay sex.
Gay sex.
Terrific.
So if you ever I think there is actually video of this guy, and he is your stereotypical evil scientist, even with the accent.
Yes, dude, he's a super villain.
We have to get the comic books out the house,
and you know
before your
and he was also
children turn into gays.
Yeah, and he was promoting all this, but let's get to the root of this. Motherfucker was selling a book, man. Dude, he was stacking bills behind this little crusade to be like, if you don't want your kids to be gay, maybe buy my book.
He's like, Robin wears short shorts. He's obviously gay, and Wonder Woman's from an island with only women. She's obviously gay. So if your kids read this, they're obviously going to be gay.
Yeah, my favorite was the asthma part too, where they'll stay inside and read, which will give them asthma. Yeah, but books are. But go ahead, also buy my book. Stay inside and read. Yeah,
don't worry about things like high fructose corn syrup. Because comic books is going to make your kids have asthma.
Unless you read Frederick Wortham's book.
Yeah, 7's the key.
7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's tale from the sea?
So
this is my favorite part because I really, really enjoyed the way they portrayed this, and they actually make a joke about how nothing is new under the sun, and how that this is just sort of happens in perpetuity. Like there's no amount of advancement human society will do before someone or a group of people or an ideology will rise up and attempt to control the behavior of everyone else. And it happened with the Satanic Panic when we were young. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but I wasn't allowed to play D&D. I couldn't play Final Fantasy because the last map on the video game was a pentagram.
Oh,
and I was
dude,
literally
you remember how mad your mom got when you killed that cat?
I mean, it needed to be sacrificed, dude. The night time's the right time.
The night time was the right time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, so I didn't kill a cat. This is a joke.
So if I remember correctly,
allegedly, that's ignorant.
There, it's covered now.
Thank you.
If I remember correctly, it was right after the segment about Frederick Wortham, where he's it's showing him basically he's supposed to be in his bedroom, and he's under the cover. They used to depict this in movies all the time where kids have their flashlights. They're under the cover reading. So they throw in some great comedy here.
Dude, yeah.
His mom comes in. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't see anything." And he pulls the covers down. It's like, "No, Mom, no. I'm reading." And and he explains to her at that point about like the stories that he's reading, and she's comparing that to
mythological,
mythological
stories of
And so she starts getting like an understanding of his attraction to these books, and they're not satanic, they're not turning anybody gay or anything. But then she walks out of the room, and the Batman silhouette pops up behind him, and he goes, "You weren't reading." And he's like, "Hey, shut up."
Hey, shut up.
I'm sitting next to Shadwick, and he busts out laughing. Like,
and I bust out laughing, and then behind me did not.
Yeah, I was gonna say all the 80-year-old Jews sitting around us, they didn't laugh either. Especially the one that was sitting right behind us. It was married to the woman from Munich.
Yeah, that was. They had history. I mean, Shadwick's not wrong, and I think this is a good point. This is a good time to mention the fact that I feel like the audience that we watched the play with perhaps may have not been the target audience. And I mean, I know that Michael Uslan now is much closer to, an octogenarian in age than he is to us, but I feel like the play was geared towards us.
The play is young.
Bombs.
The play is young, and it's rebellious,
so
and it's
good, man.
Yeah, man.
And it is.
Yeah, he talks about things like how back in the day, like the ink would run on the print, so they had to avoid words like flick, because you can't say flick it, Joker, because it comes out as fuck it, Joker.
Yeah, the ink would bleed.
And they couldn't. They never named anybody Clint for some reason.
And which got no pop except for Be Kind, Let's Rewind.
Be Kind, Let's Rewind. Lost it our shit,
Yeah, but that's also why I feel like this part really hit home with me, because obviously he lived through this moral panic with the comic books. We lived through it in our younger generation with the satanic panic, and now unfortunately Gen Alpha, is living through it again with cancel culture now. Basically a group of people trying to tell people what is acceptable, what they can see, what they can watch. It never ends, ever. And I loved that about the play, because it just sort of showed, and they mentioned it, and the writers and the actors portray that perfectly. They're like, this is what happens. You guys think this is the first time this has ever happened? No. It is always going to happen. There will always be someone. It seems like
the majority always backs it, yet the majority is wrong. Huh.
Yeah. So I guess one of the days that he went to get his comics at the drugstore or whatever, he saw that there was going to be a comic convention in New York City. Yeah, the first Comic-Con. And so he begs his dad to take him there. And he's saved up his money because he knows there's going to be an auction for, rare comics or whatever. And I'll be damned. There's a Batman #1 that goes up on auction, and the auctioneer is like, "We're thinking this thing might go north of $15."
Yeah, dude.
He's like, "I got it, man. I got $27. I'm getting it."
Mm-hmm.
And that motherfucker sold for $28.
Always.
Yep. So poor kid. But then he's at the.
By the way, according to Google, a dazzling copy of Batman #1 right now, graded by the certified guarantee company, is worth $2.22 million.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
According to a heritage auction sale, January 14th, 2021. So at least that much.
Yeah.
So when he's at this, he finds out about that comic book convention, the first ever one. They paint a nice picture of the shitty hotel, like his dad's driving him there, which again, another theater trick where it's just a steering wheel, sitting on some boxes, and they get there, dad's like commenting about how the floor's sticky and it stinks.
He doesn't get it, man. Of course.
And,
that's right.
Like all dads do.
That's why it stinks. But after that, he goes and he meets, I love, this may be my favorite part, when he meets Bill Finger.
Yes.
And Bill's at the bar, and that dude that plays Bill Finger, and he plays multiple characters, but he fucking killed this part. Nailed it.
So a lot of people don't know, even to this day, Bob Kane is credited as the creator of Batman. He really didn't. He had the initial concept, but Bill Finger was the one that came up with the costume. He came up with the origin story. So I think Bob Kane, more or less, and I'm not going to throw shade on the guy at all, but I think he was kind of copying Zorro. And the Shadow.
Zorro and the Shadow. Yeah, I was about to say that he's almost Batman's almost a 1-for-1 for the Shadow, which I'm a big fan of the Shadow, but he was almost the Shadow, but there was some Zorro cape, masked crusader kind of stuff too.
So the point I was circling was that no one knew that Bill Finger was so involved in the creation of Batman. Even at that point, Michael Uslan. So he's sitting there talking to this guy, and he's telling him like, "Oh man, I wish I could meet Bob Kane. Like, he's my favorite. Like, he's great. He created Batman." And Bill Finger's like, "Yeah, he's all right. I work with him." And he's like, "Wait, you know him?" And he's like, "Yeah." And does he tell him at that point that he was co-creator, I guess?
He says he tells me he was involved with it. I mean, it's Michael Uslan play the play makes it seem as if he's extremely modest, and I believe even in public, Bill Finger wouldn't really talk about his role in it, and they tell a sad tale in the play. Basically, Bill Finger, who had such a gigantic influence on the creation of Batman, didn't get any credit. He died basically penniless from heart disease in an apartment alone. I mean, I think he was married, but his wife divorced him. It's just a really tragic end to a life. And he finally post-mortem eventually, thanks in large part to Michael Uslan, got the credit he deserved and is now credited as basically a co-creator of the character Batman, who is obviously beloved by everyone everywhere. I mean, even if Batman's not your favorite, Batman's awesome. Like I don't know anyone who doesn't think, who hasn't had an influence, on their lives.
Which
like
this whole story is about that. It's about like how without Michael Uslan, guys, we don't have just like, without Bill Finger, you don't have Batman. Without Michael Uslan, we do not have Batman the way we know it now.
As we know it. Right. Yeah.
That shit was dead and gone and buried. So
so when he saw that 1966 abortion of a show, he made a solemn vow to himself that he was one day going to bring Batman back to the dark detective, the dark Knight detective roots on film
before it was bastardized by Adam Wee.
I guess I told him nobody messes with Adam Wee.
No one messes with Adam Wee.
Paul, that's a person's name. A person's name.
It's just going to be like 6 Family Guy quotes in a row.
No shade against Adam West.
Yeah, Adam West. He's like, I didn't have a muscle suit. That was all 100% West.
Yeah.
even the pot belly.
Oh man, Adam West is a legend nonetheless. But we move fast forward in the play. Michael Uslan's now in college after several conversations, including ones with Bill Finger, his mother previously, as Shadwick did mention, and even his father on one of the drives, I believe it was the drive home. They all tell him the same thing, like follow your dreams. Don't spend your life. And this is wisdom that we can all like take something from. Don't spend your life only in the pursuit of money or what have you. Like, you need to also follow your passions, right?
Yeah.
Like,
all money will get you is a nice house, a hot wife, a nice car, peace of mind, plenty of food,
happiness.
Happiness. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. So he in college now. He has decided to. Michael Uslan has decided to pursue his passions, and he meets a young lady in a miniskirt and go-go boots. His future
Bring him back.
wife to be Nancy And
I said, God damn.
she's just rocking it. She's just rocking it. All three of us are in love.
And can I just say, we met the real Nancy, and she is such a sweetheart.
Oh my gosh,
we did.
Yeah,
we might have found the one person nicer than Michael, his wife.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that, Shadwick. We did actually meet the real Nancy, and she is an absolute freaking rock star. Just
man,
so nice.
In fact, Michael had so many friends and family there. He was trying to make the rounds and everything. If she had not made her way over to us, we may have not been able to meet him.
Right.
Yep.
She kind of went over there. It's like, hey, come say hi to these guys.
Really,
which is awesome.
Just a rock star, man. So in the play, she falls in love, obviously, with Michael Uslan, and of course begins to share a passion for Michael Uslan's comic books, and of course his ultimate dream of not only just a realistic Batman, but also for Michael Uslan's passion to work in the comic books industry as a whole. She does support him in that dream, and they of course get married, and as a wedding gift, she presents Michael Uslan with his very own copy of Batman issue #1. Yep. Just an awesome freaking story, man.
So were they still in college when they got married?
They may have gotten. I'm not really sure. Right afterwards,
I think they were dating whenever he was teaching.
Yes,
right.
Yes, that's right. Because she was his student, right?
Yep,
she was. Yeah. So in college, and I almost forgot. Thank you. In college, he does end up somehow, and I won't spoil that for those of you who don't know, creating his own course, which they let him teach in college before he even graduated. I'm sure that's not a possibility now, but back then they allowed him to do it, and it was on comic books. He taught his own class before, and that made a lot of waves in the industry. There was a young man teaching courses in comic books, bringing new students and generations into the comic books culture. And he got a internship, I believe, with DC Comics, and started working with them.
And this is another fucking brilliant thing that he did. As soon as they approved that class to be accredited and he was going to be the professor, he called news outlets and acted like he was an outraged parent.
Yeah,
like, can you believe the University of Indiana is teaching a course on comic books?
Dude, that's some of the most baller shit.
Funny papers. So he got national recognition for this, which led to Stan the Man contacting him.
That's some WWE shit.
That's some Vince McMahon like backroom dealing stuff. That's it, dude.
You remember when we all thought Vince McMahon was dead?
Mm-hmm.
when his car blew up?
Well, his limo blew up, man.
Dude.
It was on TV.
He was inside.
I don't know what else you want.
Dude, exactly, man, exactly. So fresh out of college, Uslan, he does end up getting a job within the industry, but that's not his passion completely. We all know it's to make a realistic Batman. And during this time, at some point, there was a comic books crash, and he, along with what's the other guy that he has passed away now? That was
Ben Melnicker.
Yes, Melnicker.
Okay.
Was him and Michael Uslan somehow procured the movie rights to Batman.
The value of the brand tanked after the 1966 show.
Right.
That's how people saw Batman from that point on until Batman 89.
And they didn't they didn't go into it in the play, but in the book, like the people at DC who Michael was friends with, like actively try to talk him out of this in the book. They're like, don't waste your fucking money, kid.
Yeah.
And but man, he's hell bent and he's gonna do it, and
that's passion. He believed.
Solid move.
Yeah. He was working at United Artists as a what type of lawyer was it? He was a lawyer, but it was like a film rights lawyer, maybe. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But he did some work on Rocky.
I should have broke your thumbs.
he bought the rights, he pitched it to United Artists first, and I think they're like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
Yeah, his dream of a serious Batman. No, like Chris said, like he was able to get the rights because no one believed in the IP at all,
Right.
and so, but that also is sort of as a double-edged sword, right? He wasn't able to pitch to anybody because nobody believed in it, and like you're literally holding worthless,
somebody
property.
like you'd always have people on the inside where he would almost get it. You know, it would be like, hey man, a distraction. Like anybody that's ever been in the entertainment industry, I can't tell you how many times I've been in bands where it's like, hey man, gave your CD to da da da, and they really like it. You know, expect to hear something soon, and then crickets. You know, or Be Kind,
The
Let's
classic.
Rewind. You know, we're like, hey, sponsor our podcast, and no one has.
Yeah. we're looking at you, Blue Chew.
Yeah, Blue Chew. God, we could make
man.
dick jokes.
Or please, this duck. So of course, Nancy also he marries Nancy. Of course, he is working in the industry, which was always his dream. Not his full dream, but that was part of it. And he has the rights to the Batman movie. He's working on that. Nancy, of course.
Yeah, he has his first kid, right?
Yeah, Nancy gets pregnant, and they start a family. They have their first child. Everything
David.
seems to be coming up. He's working on the movie, trying to get it, and then the play takes an absolute tragic turn. Again, these aren't spoilers for people that have read the book. You know exactly.
Yeah,
what happens
maybe
and
we
where
just
this is
leave.
going.
Yeah, maybe we leave this one a little vague just in case. But
that's
pretty,
fine. Yeah,
pretty big part of the
leave,
play.
Yeah, we'll leave it vague because I do want people to go see it. But
yeah, it's a devastating moment in the play.
I mean, it goes from us, you know, having tears in our eyes from laughing to tears, you know, streaming down your face.
Dude, he Sandler'd us is what he did. He was on next. I was watching the fucking movie Click.
I knew you were going to mention that.
Theater. Yeah, I was like, damn it, because you know how comedies they lull you into, and it's not really a comedy, but it's pretty much it's a feel good, you know, good story, and then all of a sudden, boom, they just hit you with this left hook, and I was like, man, actually, the first thing I said when he came up to us, I was like, dude, thanks for making me cry in public.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say one of the things that made this one scene so powerful is his inner voice, Batman.
Yeah.
The guy, the guy comes out from behind the screen and he's wearing a tuxedo, so he looks like Bruce Wayne. He sits down and he's talking him through this tragedy, and
that dialogue is fucking intense. And
right.
it's like,
and the way they delivered it too.
Yeah, it's just a basic stage setup to, you know, people sitting down and just like, man, it was great. Like I get goosebumps thinking about it right now because those actors killed that, man.
Yeah. Dan Fogler crushes this scene, as well as Paul Adam Schaefer. The only two men on stage at this point in time. They actually knocked the scene out of the park. It is devastating. Like Chris says, it's just a 180 from what we've just been doing. And as someone who's enjoyed plays, all the best plays have that moment,
right?
Like within it. And even though I've read the book and seen it, like if you get a chance to see the play, and we'll talk about it at the end, you need to go see it because it's nothing prepared me for the moment of witnessing what I saw when it happened. It's not comparable. You know, it's a tragic and an unexpected moment in the play, and it's excellent. It's one of the saddest things and most powerful scenes I've ever witnessed in a live play. It was insane.
And then to add on to that, he's struggling financially.
Yeah,
because he's been put money into these pitches. He's is he still working as a lawyer? Is he working as a writer now? I
believe in.
I was a little confused on that part.
I don't know where he's working, but he hated his job at United.
Yeah.
Like he hated it. And so I'm pretty sure he got away with that. And I believe he took a pay cut from that. He's struggling financially. The dream is stalling out. No one seems to be interested at this point in time. He's been waiting, struggling, pitching this.
So the only thing that he can think to do to ease the financial stress is the unthinkable.
No,
he goes and puts his Batman #1 that Nancy bought him on consignment. So
he's got 2 years, right?
Yeah, was it 20 grand? I think he got
20 grand.
20 grand.
Yeah, he gets 20 grand, and he's got 2 years to pay it back. Which he thinks, all right, man, like I just need this for some breathing room. This thing will take off,
and then
he's too ashamed. He doesn't tell Nancy.
So
he bought him the damn book.
So in those 2 years, he doesn't get Batman made, but he also picked up the film rights to Swamp Thing,
right?
Which they did make a movie on. So he got a little scratch from that, and so
they didn't really talk about it in there, but I believe Swamp Thing 2. Thank you, Michael Uslan, for Heather Locklear, who was on our top 10 '90s early crushes. Go back and watch it.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
The guy made $1 million.
So yeah.
So yeah, he gets a little scratch from Swamp Thing. So he goes back to where he sold the book. Well within the 2 years, and I'll be damned if they didn't sell the damn book like a week before he came back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out from under him, man.
Yeah, he's shit out of luck, and so he's got to face the music and tell Nancy what he did, because I don't think we mentioned he did not tell her that he did this. He did it on the sly, on the down low,
which is a great lesson here, guys. It's never tell your wife.
Yeah, don't let her. Yeah, even
lie until you can't lie anymore.
Yeah, even if it doesn't work out, and your plans don't work out the way you wanted, and you can't make the lie good, you still don't tell her.
Yeah,
because what did she do?
Yeah, when he does tell her,
she leaves,
and she's pregnant right now, isn't she?
Yeah.
When this happens.
Yeah, I believe she's pregnant. So they do end up having another child, trying again, and actually she brings it to term. So he has I'm pretty sure he has almost a newborn or a very, very young child, which that's sort of an uptick before this happens, and you get slapped again.
Yeah.
And so she decides to leave and take the kids because she's like, it's not. And at first I was like, that's a little bit of an overreaction, but then they explain it a little more, and I start to see her side of it a little more. That it wasn't about the comic book. In the beginning of their marriage, she basically was like, we'll have ups and downs, but just don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Make sure you tell the truth. Mazel tov, they step on the thing, and their life begins together. And here he is. He's betrayed the ultimate trust that she put in him. He's lied to her, and she's like, well, now you've lied about this simple thing. What else could you be hiding? Like,
and you're good at it. You kept it from me forever. So like
for this,
so like
she
packs up and bounces, and then he gets the news that they just secured Tim Burton to direct this new Batman, right?
No. I think they had Tim Burton. It was Jack Nicholson that he got.
Well, Nicholson, Nicholson was first, and then they got Tim Burton, I think, right?
I think it was actually switched or reversed because I
think they had Tim Burton
during the uptick where things are going better and he gets the scratch. I believe they said Tim Burton was interested in the movie, and this is a real poignant part because Jack Nicholson says he wants to do the Joker in the serious Batman adventure, and not only that, but all signs are finally, after all this time, pointing to the movies ago. They got their director, they got their main actor. There's some funny stuff about Michael Keaton being chosen, and that was all Tim Burton's idea, which is funny in the film. But everything is a go at this point in time. Like, he finally gets the call, his dream is happening, and it doesn't matter because his wife, his family is gone. and it's everything is wrecked. So it's a bittersweet moment in the play because he's like, I have everything I ever wanted except for what really matters, and I see that now.
Yeah, he should be having happy tissues, but they're actually sad tissues.
Sad tissues.
it's so Michael Uslan. He's completely heartbroken, and he finally understands, of course, that no matter the success, it can't replace what truly matters in this world: a thick BBW. I mean, true love. Yeah, true love. So, of course, Nancy, in the end of the play, Nancy changes her mind. She forgives Michael Uslan and returns to his side with the kids because, I mean, they've been through so much together in this play and in their lives, and it's that moment of uniting. Michael Uslan wins the lottery. He wins everything. His family's back together. The serious Batman movie we all know and love drops in the theaters to resounding success, changing the comic book movie industry forever. And of course, the rest is history. We get all of these. Not only do we have in BKLR's opinion the best Batman, and it's just a legendary that brings forth all of the other Batmans. So even if you disagree with us, your Batman doesn't exist without Michael Uslan, without this particular Batman, without his dream, without his life, his struggles. And that's what the play is about. Again, it's almost a word for word retelling of the book in drama form. Well, it is simply an amazing thing to watch. And as far as nostalgia is concerned, if you're a comic book fan, if you're a comic movie book fan,
if you want to know if you're a Batman fan and you want to know the history of it. Now, I didn't see Michelle Pfeiffer in this, but
I didn't.
I bet that tastes good.
Yep, dude, desperate times call for desperate measures. Got to get it in every episode. Damn it!
What if Michelle Pfeiffer was there, dude? That'd have been
I wouldn't have come
so
home.
Sick.
It would just be us asking her for 4 hours to be like, "Can you just say
he's dead now?"
So we can have a film.
Will you sing Cool Rider for me?
All right, guys. So overall, man, what did we think about this play? We did the long trek. We had the shitty travel. We went out there to support Michael, and man, dude, it was worth it. It was absolutely
suffered
worth it.
through the insufferable Tampa weather.
You know, one thing that we didn't cover from the play, I thought was a funny little bit, was his proposal. Apparently, he wrote the proposal on a piece of paper, watered that piece of paper up, stuck it in his mouth, and then when he was kissing Nancy in her go-go boots and miniskirt, he shoved that piece of paper into her mouth, and so she has to open it up and read it, and so I was talking to her right after the play, and I was like, I don't know if it's better or worse, but I trapped my wife in the shower when I proposed. I was basically like a sheep herder, just like,
hold on,
you come out, I'm gonna get you with this cattle prod.
Yep, I don't remember that story. I don't think from the book, but there's so much in that book that I need to go listen to it again.
I didn't remember that.
I don't know if that was just put in there because it has a tie-in at the end too. But I love this. I will go see this again when this. Hopefully, their success here, their success when they go overseas, it hits Broadway, then starts making the rounds. And if it comes to Chattanooga, we're one hundo there again. So
yes.
I'd say 100% thumbs up.
Maybe Fox Theater in Buckhead.
There you go. Yeah,
that would be excellent. We actually got to meet Michael Uslan. If we haven't said it yet, I don't know if Chris has put the pictures up, but we got to meet him. It was an insane experience. We got to meet Nancy. We got to meet the Sullivans, the friends of the family.
Yeah,
we
man.
sat with them. We laughed and laughed and
Yeah, we met his son, David.
Yeah,
we did. We did. We had an absolute blast. Michael Uslan, his wife, the people surrounding him are nothing but the most exceptionally kind people.
Yeah,
like I have ever
nice
met.
people.
Yeah.
Genuinely nice, and that's how you know that a good portion of what you see in this play is authentic. If you do get a chance to see The Boy Who Loved Batman, I know probably Shadow will agree, but I'll let him get the last word in since he's the biggest Michael Uslan fan. It's legitimate, it's real, it's well acted, it's well produced. The stage, the production value, everything is just excellent. I told Michael Uslan that myself, that he needed to be proud of this because this was something extremely special. I feel like it's a cherry on top of an exceptional life. And
Excelsior.
Excelsior. 10 out of 10. I would see it again, Shadwick.
Like you said in the beginning, I expected a full-on play, with set pieces and a 20-person cast, but
yeah.
This really, really works. I mean, the way he interacts with the silhouette of Batman as his kind of voice, his voice of reason. The comedy is throughout, and it's very clever, well-timed comedy. And then you've got, the heartbreaking drama pieces.
Yeah.
Bring you back down for a minute, and then you
put you back
up.
Yeah.
It's great. All around great.
It was great. And so, guys, one of the last things I'll say is, Catherine Yako, give us a call on the Be Kind, Let's Rewind. Give us a call on the Rewind phone. It's our podcast. And, guys, with that, we'll go ahead and lead us over to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
And finally this week, Jeanne Calment of France turned 120 years, 238 days old, making her the oldest person who has ever lived. And though she can no longer shop for herself, see friends, or even get out of bed, she still has enough strength to say, "Oh God, I want to die."